Hey, it's your man Sam Fortune. I have Debbie Gibbs in the studio today. And
Denise Johnson.
Denise Johnson. Debbie Gibbs is PR for LifeShare of the Carolinas. She graced us with her presence today.
I appreciate the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now listen, before Miranda started recording, you told me something that nobody in the room knew about a prestigious, thing that you have under your belt.
Well, it's part of my resume that in the mid-'70s I began working in Charlotte at WBTV.
Right.
And I was the first African-American television reporter in the Charlotte market.
That's incredible. That's incredible. It is so nice to meet you.
Well, thank you. You know, the thing that was interesting was I didn't realize that for years nobody told me. I was just accepting a job. I didn't realize I was going to be the first. I didn't find out until much later.
Well, that's incredible. And now what you do is you are on a campaign
Oh,
to
absolutely.
fix the numbers, the lopsided numbers in the black community as far as organ donation.
Yeah, I've been working with LifeShare of the Carolinas now. It will be 18 months, January of 2012. And my role is trying to work with the community, including the African American community, for an obvious reason,
Right.
to try to encourage more people to consider signing up as organ donors. Unfortunately, we are disproportionately affected and afflicted by diseases that cause kidney failure, and as a result we tend to wait longer, and more of us will die without a transplant because not enough of us donate.
And see, I don't know how many people are walking around the way I, had to deal with myself for a minute. Like, is there something I'm walking around with that someone could use right now? And that's not really the case. It is, for a couple of organs.
Yeah, what our efforts are trying to get more people to consider donation when they're dead and they no longer need them. We're not, suggesting that people go and start donating organs while they're living.
Right.
Now you can, like if you have a family member, a church member, a friend that needs a kidney transplant, any individual can donate a kidney, assuming that they're healthy themselves.
Right.
And you only need one kidney in order to live. But primarily we're talking about donating your organs when you no longer need them, when you've been declared dead, and rather than burying them where they don't help anybody, why not give them to somebody like Denise who, needs them?
Yes, and what is your story, Denise?
Well, I am a relative newcomer to Charlotte. I came here in the latter part of 2007.
Right.
And I wanted to make a new start for myself, so I decided to change careers. I was in radiology for the past 22 years. I decided to go into medical billing and coding. So I'm going along, nice and healthy, nothing going wrong. The health department, I was in school and I started developing swelling in my feet and ankles. And I didn't know why, but it didn't bother me. I kept on going. And I went to my brother's house and my sister-in-law's house for dinner, and they said, "Why are your eyes yellow?" And I jumped up from the table because I knew what that meant. That was jaundice. And I didn't know. So I went to my primary care physician, and he put me on medication, diuretics first, and didn't work. So he referred me to Dr. Eric Thompson at Carolina's Digestive Health. And
Right.
he got the ball rolling. I was admitted into the hospital, and they said that I needed a transplant. I was diagnosed with autoimmune hepatitis, which means that my body was attacking my liver. There was nothing wrong with it. It just started attacking my liver for some unknown reason, and that's why I needed a transplant. And had I not gotten one, I wouldn't be here today.
Wow. So it's a very simple issue. I pulled out my license. I have the little heart. So I have a clear understanding that I'm the same that I never change. I'm just a simple man. Explain it to me what you mean by, do I want to be a donor?
Right.
If I die in a car crash or some unfortunate accident and my organs are still healthy and can be used by someone walking around right now who needs an organ, I don't see how that could be a hard decision to go ahead and say, yeah, after I'm gone and I don't need those organs anymore, be a donor. The numbers are unbelievable as far as how many people need an organ and how many people are willing to donate an organ.
Absolutely. There is a huge disparity, a gap between supply and demand. There are approximately 112,000 people in the United States that currently need an organ transplant. About 3,500 of them live in North Carolina. Now, when you look at the number of people waiting for kidney transplants in particular, that's when it gets to be very interesting, and that's where African Americans are really disproportionately represented. We're 57% of the waiting list for kidney transplants. We're not 57% of the population of North Carolina.
Right.
And to go back to your earlier point, there are a lot of reasons why people say no when they go to the DMV. And of course, one of them is people are afraid of getting an accident, that they won't get medical treatment, they'll let them die so they can transplant their organs. And I'm putting it out there because I'm sure that there are people who are listening to us who are thinking that. And that is a myth and a misconception. If someone's in an accident, the first effort is made to save their lives. Right. It's only when their lives can't be saved that donation becomes, a part of the conversation. And then, religious beliefs. You don't need to have all your parts to go to heaven. When you get to the pearly gates, St. Peter's not going to say one kidney, one wing. So if people aren't sure of what their religion's position is on donation, they can check our website at LifeShareCarolinas.org or check with your spiritual advisor. But all major religions in the United States, whether you're Baptist, AME, Zion, Lutheran, Presbyterian, do support donation as an act of charity. And ultimately, when you think about it, if you have a child and your child needed a transplant to live, or your mother, would you accept an organ for them to live?
Of course.
Okay, so based on that premise, we say, well, shouldn't you consider donating one too?
Right.
To help someone else's mother or someone else's child.
Right. Yes. I don't see how it could be a hard decision. You're not here anymore. That is the main thing that I'm stuck on. It's like, oh yeah, take them. Take them. It should be a very easy decision. The websites, the ways for people to contact LifeShare.
Well, if someone wants to sign up, if they hear our show and they're inspired, they can go to the DMV when it's time to get their license renewed,
right, and
say yes, and they'll put a little red heart on your license. The other thing is you can go online. You can go to the LifeShare website, which is www.lifesharecarolinas.org, and sign up there. It goes through the North Carolina State Registry.
Right.
And you sign up there, and it is legally binding, so your family can't overturn your wishes, any more than they could change your will.
Right.
Once you sign up, that's your position, and it's acted upon. So those are, just two ways, and if people are interested and they don't, say, have a computer, or they're not computer savvy, if they call our organization or email us, we'll be happy to send them a form in the mail, and they can fill it out and mail it in.
Right.
We try to make it easy.
Yes. I think it should be very easy. But like you say, it's people who have their own thoughts on things. But I don't see why it would be an issue because, she's sitting with us today. With her cute glasses. Alive and well.
That's right.
And the nice thing was she says she only waited a few days. There's a lot of myths that people think that black people don't get transplants or that we have to wait a long time. And in a lot of cases we do. But there are people like her. There's another guy that, has volunteered with our organization for years. They got his transplant in 3 days. So, you don't have to be a celebrity or rich to get a transplant.
Right.
They're available to everybody. And so, we just need to help ourselves by more of us saying yes.
Right. When you said that some people think that you know, if something happens to them, they think that they're going to let them pass. So that's a big time conspiracy theory right there. Did you catch that?
Yes, I did.
I could go off about that.
Yeah.
I would just like to know if that has happened in some places. I know that the medical society that's supposed to be the first thing they do, but we do a section on conspiracies. That's a heavy conspiracy, though, to think that the medical people are doing their job.
Well, no, they do not do that. I mean, doctors go to
they
medical
go to save your
school
life.
to save lives, not
Right.
to end them.
Right.
I mean, and, you know, to that point, I mean, you could go to India or someplace and buy a kidney, but in the United States, it's illegal to buy or sell an organ.
Right.
So,
That's
no, it does
wild.
not happen here.
Right. No doubt. I'm so appreciative of coming on the show today.
Well, I
I'm so
appreciate
glad
you
you're
having
with
us.
us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I think we all need to look into organ donation. This is your man, Sam Fortune. And you've been watching the Hump Day radio channel, YouTube channel. Check us out, www.csbthestorm.com.